We have reached the final battle. Time is no more. God calls a spade a spade. Why? Because the whole lost world has got the name of the beast on their forehead, and now they're all in one voice blaming God and blaspheming his name. Satan has achieved his objective. Slander the name of God, his reputation, his right to rule. And God says, that's it. There's nothing more to be achieved. And boom, he puts the throne of the beast, the throne of the dragon, which is one and the same in 13:2, in darkness. And those who've got the name of the beast, the kingdom of the beast, are also in darkness, and they're biting their tongues, and they're still blaming God. And God says, angel, pour out your bowl on the river Euphrates and dry it up. And the kings from the east, from God, come in, and they face off with the kings of the whole world that the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet sent out to gather at Armageddon. The drying up of the Euphrates signaled to the counterfeit trinity, as we have seen. It's time for the great war, and these demonic spirits come out of the mouths for the battle, polemos. This is a war of words over the name of God. They all blaspheme the name of God while they carry the name of the beast. And now there's a battle, polemos, that comes from their mouth. This is all over the name of God that they had been blaspheming. The drying up of the river Euphrates means that Babylon is going to fall because she sits on Babylon. If you look at the photo right now, you will see there. You see the river, Babylon there, and you've got the hanging gardens, the big citadel, the big building there, the temple of Babylon, and you've got the riverbed there, and the river. You dry up a river of a major ancient city, she's in trouble. So the drying up the river Euphrates signaled it's time for the great battle. And now the very next plague is going to say, as a result of the drying up of the river Euphrates, Babylon falls. Look, 16:17-21, New American Standard Bible. Then the seventh angel poured out his bowl upon the air, and a loud voice came out of the temple from the throne, the one who sits on the throne, remember? Saying, it is done. What's done? The whole world is blaming God. They're carrying the name of the beast. They're blaspheming the name of God. That's it. Time is no more. It's time to get the show on the road, the final battle, dry up the Euphrates. The counterfeit trinity knows, this is final battle time. Out of the mouths, false messages go out about the name of God in the final battle. And as soon as the Euphrates is dried up, Babylon falls. It is done. Verse 18, there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder, and there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since mankind came to be upon the earth. So great an earthquake was it, and so mighty it was. The great city was split into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. Babylon the Great was remembered in the sight of God to give her the cup of the wine of his fierce wrath. This is the culmination of the wrath of God, and Babylon falls when the river Euphrates is hit. The water system of Babylon was the lifeblood of Babylon, and now she falls, and the kings from the east come in for the final showdown. The showdown is not described in this passage. It will be later. They've just gathered for the battle, and Babylon falls as a direct result of the Euphrates being dried up. And this is a polemos, a battle, Greek word polemos, a polemical battle, and it is a war, a battle that comes from the mouths of the counterfeit trinity as they send out their demons to gather the armies together. So this is the final showdown over the name of God. The destruction of Babylon is so important that it's taken up again in chapter 17, 18, 19. Nearly 3 chapters are dedicated to the fall of Babylon. Why? Look at this. 17:1. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls, one of the plague angels, came and said to me, "Come, John, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters." Well, we just saw it judged. And now the angels come back. I said, I'm going to give you the backstory of Babylon. because Babylon's hardly mentioned. She's mentioned in the second angel's message in Revelation 14:8. This is the next reference. What triggered it was her water system being dried up. It led to her being broken into three. So it's only a little bit of information about it, but it is the culmination of the wrath of God. She gets the culmination of the wrath of God, and it looks like in the seventh plague that God is the direct active agent of violence, and he's not. We've already seen this earlier on in the series. Babylon will disintegrate and split into three from within herself. She brings all this misery upon herself. So who is this harlot woman seated on many waters? Who was Babylon seated on? The Euphrates. Oh. The reference there to many waters is a direct reference to the Euphrates River, because as we saw in the diagram, that's where she's at. And now he's going to tell us what it means that the river Euphrates dries up, which leads to her collapse. Watch. Come and I'm going to show you the judgment. I'm going to show you how Babylon comes undone. She was undone in the wrath of God. It looks like God did it. And now he says, I'm going to show you how God pours out his wrath. And we're going to see divine withdrawal. A release on the restraint on the powers of darkness. And then they will attack each other. Watch this. Verse 5. Who is this great harlot that's going to be judged? 17:5. And on her forehead was a name written of mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and earth's abominations. Come, I'm going to show you how God pours out his wrath and destroys Babylon. And he will do nothing. His wrath means divine withdrawal. No more divine protection, no more holding back the powers of darkness. When he lets go, they implode. Look, 17:3. The judgment of Babylon, the wrath of God on Babylon will unpack. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names. We saw this in chapter 13. Yeah. The woman is sitting on the beast who had blasphemous names and was blaspheming the name of God. She's riding it. She's controlling the beast. She is the supreme villain. And now she comes to focus as she falls because she's pulling the reins. She's guiding this whole thing. She sits on a beast with blasphemous names. It had 7 heads and 10 horns. Babylon is the supreme enemy. She's riding the beast with 10 horns. The beast that was killing made war with the saints. 13:7-8, remember? Now we're seeing Babylon was pushing her and pulling the beast. Right. Why is Babylon the supreme villain? 18:24. And in her was found, Babylon, the blood of the prophets and of the saints. Babylon is the direct active agent on earth that kills the followers of Jesus. And she rides the beast with 10 horns, and they carry out her dictates. So now we know why she is judged. She's the primary villain in the book of Revelation. She rides the beast with 10 horns. She's in control. She is ultimately responsible. Now John will explain. The angel will come to John and explain what the beast and the 10 horns is all about. 17:7. But the angel said to me, why do you marvel, John? I will tell you the mystery of the woman. He's going to tell us what this vision's about this prostitute woman named Babylon who's controlling a beast with 10 horns. They are carrying out her dictates. And the angel said to me, why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. Verse 15. Remember she sits on many waters in verse 1? Remember the waters of Babylon are the Euphrates? Well, now we're going to tell what the Euphrates symbolizes. Because everything is symbolic. 1:1. 17:15, English Standard Version. And the angel said to me, the waters that you saw, where the prostitute is seated, Babylon, that's the Euphrates. Oh, it's being interpreted, so it's not literal. The waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. Boom! It's the people groups, citizens, the nations, the people, not the kings, not their armies. It's the people groups of all the world. That's what the Euphrates represented, the people who supported Babylon. So now the waters represent, the waters of Euphrates is interpreted to mean the people groups on planet Earth. So when the Euphrates is dried up, Babylon loses the support of all the nations, the peoples on planet Earth. Imagine losing all your faithful subjects and followers. That's why the devil said, oh no, we're in trouble in 16:11 to 16. So he says, come on, let's go and gather the kings, because the river has dried up. The peoples have left the building. You see, that was a crisis for Babylon. But they still managed to gather together their kings to face off against the kings coming from God, from the east, for the final battle. And the kings will come up again in this battle in chapter 17 and in chapter 19. But here we are seeing Babylon coming undone. So now we know what the drying up the river Euphrates means. Next, we need to find out, what is this king with 10 horns that she sits on? What's all this about? Next time.